Hello guys, welcome to another Filmmaking Times Live, but today I'm on location. So I'm gonna be showing you guys basically how I'm setting up these, kind of how I do my camera tests. And camera tests are very important. I would say you always want to do it before every project, especially when you're working with new gear or when you're planning to work with new gear. The reason is because if you just kind of show up and, even if you work with a camera, but let's say you add little new accessories or things like that, and you show up, at a location or your, let's say, film shoot location or whatever it is, and you start shooting with it and try then figure out the little differences, then you're gonna lose valuable time, but also you could just screw up the shots. So that's the reason why I do always tests, or whenever I can. There was actually a film I shot for director Clint D'Souza. It was last year, basically a year ago in the summer, August of 2016, where it was the first first film project that I shot on the URSA Mini 4.6K camera, which I have here with me today, which I'm going to show you guys kind of what I'm testing out on it. And when I started working on it, I remember, I had a little bit of time, like literally maybe one day, to run some preliminary kind of tests on it. But I had worked for over almost 2 years with the previous version of the camera, which was the URSA Mini 4K version. So I thought, okay, I know everything there is pretty much about the camera, and I wished I had more, time to do tests. But I kind of figured, well, whatever, it is what it is. It's this quick project that came along, so I was like, okay, let's just do it. And then of course I screwed it up, and the reason why was because most of the things I knew, but the big major problem with that camera was actually the IR, basically, filtration. There's no IR filter in the camera, and so as I started working with it very quickly, I started realizing that the shots outside with the sun were looking very, very red. So that's the reason why. Anyways, I see everybody saying hello. So hello to all of you guys. But by the way, those of you who are, well, I guess I can't do it right now, but I did a little live stream yesterday on Facebook. So if you can, anybody, go to my Facebook page and let people know that I'm streaming right here on YouTube today, only because it's on location and I'm doing it from my phone. So that's the reason why. But let me know, guys, hello to everybody, and let me know where you guys are joining from. I'm not French. After I get a question, I'm actually originally from Poland, but then when I was a kid I moved to Canada, and I live in the US, so not French. Let me know where you guys are joining. I see we have New Orleans, somebody from New York. I'm actually in New York right now too, so you can see here Atlanta. I see this is the view of the Hudson River. This is the downtown over there. So yeah, nice location. And I'm just sitting here at the apartment, where my studio is not here, so that's why I'm not doing the live stream from the studio, because from the studio I would be able to do it, like I normally do, which would be to Facebook and to YouTube. Germany, Florida, USA. I see Moscow. Oh my God, what time is it over there in Moscow? Norway, Milan, Italy, Switzerland. Damn, I love you guys. I love seeing all the people like coming from everywhere. I love Norway. I mean, I love almost every place I see something nice. Never been to Milan. I've been to Italy all over. Been to Switzerland, beautiful country. Hello, Poland. Of course, I've been to Poland. I've never been to Finland or Hungary, but I've been to Norway. I wanted to say I did a project there for like 2 weeks. I was there shooting years ago, and it's an amazing country. Beautiful, really beautiful. Very similar to Canada in many ways. Niagara, Ontario, Canada, Newcastle, UK. Hello from Greece, Jamaica. Oh my God, yeah, Norway is definitely a place to visit. I think all these places have something cool to visit. Like I haven't been to Jamaica, I've been to Greece. I love Greece. What is this? Chile. You see, we have Kurdistan. Oh man. New Orleans, Germany. Been to Germany. I've only been there for like 2 days. That's all, and I want to really go back to Germany and kind of do a vacation. So I'm planning actually a family vacation maybe next year. And when I'm there, maybe I'll do a meetup, so everybody from Germany, you guys can come by. Delhi, India. I shot a feature film in Delhi last year, so that's a crazy country on its own. Very beautiful though. Iraq. So we have again from Switzerland, Jersey. So you're just right across the thing. Oh no, Jersey, UK. Okay, I thought it was New Jersey. Los Angeles. Love Los Angeles. Yeah, a lot of cool places. Hungary. All right, anyways, I'm gonna get going in this. So like I said, doing camera tests. Hello, Ukraine. South Korea. Oh my God. Great seeing you all guys joining from all over the place. So keep on, sending those messages there. St. Petersburg, Russia. Actually, I want to go to St. Petersburg. I was watching the Anastasia movie not too long ago, and me and my wife saw it, and we were like thinking, oh man, it's a nice place to go and visit. Toronto is we have. Toronto's my hometown. I'm actually going to be there in Toronto next week, so coming there for the shoot project. Dubai. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to show you guys here what I have. This is my kind of a travel bag. This is the one from I got from Arco. If you saw like some of my previous videos about the URSA Mini, you'd see that I was using a different bag. It was like this hard case, and that's kind of what I use when I have to check in the bag, actually on the flight, and I want the camera to be protected and locked. This is a soft kind of a bag, but it's still good. It keeps my camera nice and protected still when I'm traveling, but I would definitely not check the camera in this. And this is kind of like, it allows me to carry the whole camera in here. And it's funny because yesterday I was doing a little bit of sightseeing in New York with my wife. We went to see some places and meet some people, how it is in New York, and I was debating, should I take my URSA or should I take my little point and shoot, which is this little camera up here. In the case, you see it's smaller than the lens that I have up here. In the end, I decided to take this, and it was a good choice because we are out and about on the city for the whole day, and it would have been tiresome working with this thing. I mean, this is the camera, and without even it being completely built up, you see already how much it's, how big it is, right? Hello Mexico. I see some other places here. So this is the thing, and what I'm testing out is I've shot various film projects, commercials, all that stuff on this. So I've used this already. What I haven't used is, like I said, this new combination of the Anamorphic, and this isn't like a completely anamorphic lens because, as you know, anamorphic lenses are freaking expensive. So whenever I shoot on anamorphics, it's usually rentals. But here, I already did a review of this is the Anamorphic adapter from SLR Magic, but I did the review that I did, which looked cool, and I shot a music video on that, was the 1.33 times anamorphic. Well, this is like a true anamorphic. What I mean by that is that most anamorphic lenses are going to be 2 times anamorphic, meaning that they capture 2 times as wide, basically a field of view. So vertically it's the same, but it basically gets a wider field of view vertically this way. So that's what gives you this nice sort of a anamorphic, wider aspect ratio. So that's what I'm using, and that's basically this part here. That's what this thing is, and this costs around $1,100. I'm gonna post all the links to things that I'm doing after the stream is done, so you guys can see. But there's various places you can get it. I got mine from NH. So this is kind of how, like I said, where basically what you're getting, and it's literally an anamorphic lens. That's really what it is, and I can kind of talk about it. If you guys have questions, we're gonna see any questions about what is actually anamorphic, let me know, and I'll answer them up here. But yeah, that's basically what we have going on up here. And then up here, I have the Rokinon 50mm lens, cinema lens. So it has focus ring here geared, aperture that's geared, and all that stuff. So I have all those things up here mounted. And otherwise it's the URSA. But like I said, this combination of this new lens, and it's because I'm kind of using a lens that I've used already plus the lens adapter, which together creates a new anamorphic lens. And to be honest, this looks big and it is kind of heavy, but this is still nothing comparing it to when you're comparing it to actual anamorphic lenses. Most anamorphic lenses are going to be even bigger than this, even thicker and heavier. So this is still relatively small. Now I did put a little lens support here from SLR Magic. That's because the mount, EF mount up here was pretty good, but there is always a chance if you start moving and shaking the camera too much that it's eventually gonna loosen up on you, the mount. So definitely wouldn't want to damage that. You see here what questions. Yeah, is it single focus is the question from Car Galaxy. Yep. Then another question, am I finishing a movie right now? Well, I'm not right now in the middle of a production, but I'm getting ready to shoot actually 2 films coming up. One is a feature film, and then there's another one I'm doing next week in Canada. It's a short film. So the feature film we're actually considering shooting on anamorphics, and we're deciding because it's not a big budget production, so I'm kind of talking to the director and deciding what's the best way to go, whether we should use this or whether we should spend the money and shoot actually something on on actual anamorphic lenses. I've been actually talking to a few companies. One is the Atlas lens company, and they kind of came up with these new, they already have 2 anamorphic lenses, and now they're working on 2 more, I believe. I'm in talks with them about possibly using their lenses on this film, kind of testing it out for them, and having a chance to use them. And they're really beautiful PL mount lenses, but they're anamorphic, true anamorphic, and they look very sharp on all that stuff. So now this is single focus. What that means is that some of you might be wondering, why is he asking that? Well, because normally when you have a lens, right, like in this case I have the Rokinon lens here, that lens in itself, you see, has the focus ring, right? And then on top of that, the adapter itself will have another focus ring, which is here. And normally, if you were basically using an anamorphic adapter with a lens, that's the problem. Why, and the reason why it hasn't really been used on too many productions, because you can't really pull focus, because you'd literally have to be pulling focus here with one hand on the lens and another one here on the adapter, and it just simply means that it's impossible pretty much to rack focus. So what you would have to do is you basically adjust your lens focus, you adjust your adapter focus. Once you get it in focus, you leave it, and that's it. And so it's not very, like I said, it's okay if you're just gonna have one static shot, but when you start to pan the camera around, or actors are moving in or closer or further away from the camera, well, then forget about it, because the shot is gonna be out of focus. But here's where SLR Magic kind of came up with a solution. So they basically, now you can buy this kit, this adapter, with a single focus basically here solution on the top. Now I'll tell you this right away, this little solution is basically another piece of glass that they're putting up here, and what you're going to do is you're going to set your lens here to infinity focus. So put it infinity. The same thing with the adapter, you can put it to infinity, which I believe is there. You put it to infinity, and then you do all your focusing, and this is also geared, so it's beautiful because I can put my follow focus on it and it's properly marked. And then basically you do all your focusing with this one ring. So it's kind of, like I said, it's Car Galaxy says he's got a do-it-yourself anamorphic. There's a lot of good do-it-yourself anamorphic solutions out there, and some are single focus, some are not. But go check out his channel. That's somebody's asking. Patrick Winters asking about using old PL mount lenses. I mean, I wouldn't use lenses just because they're PL mount, because that's just a mount. I care more about the glass in it. But there's some great anamorphic lenses that are PL. And like I said, there's a possibility that I might be shooting. I've shot already actually projects on the URSA with the PL anamorphic lenses, and I would prefer to get, though, for that one time we basically rented an actual URSA which had a PL mount, because this one is with the Canon EF mount. Or you can get an adapter. Sometimes the adapters don't work that great, but I tried another question about the Kinefinity Terra. I've tried it. I've tried the previous version, the 6K. Great camera when it comes to image quality, not so great when it comes to ergonomics and the codec. The codec is just a mess. I wish they just used like ProRes or something, like a Cinema DNG, normal regular RAW, but they're using their own proprietary RAW, and it's not great. Let's just put it that way. Question here, what is it about Dubai something? Am I coming to Dubai? I think is your question. No plans right now to come to Dubai. So anyways, getting back to this thing. So like I said, so now with this thing, once you set this and this to infinity, you're basically just rocking focus with this ring now. And here you can adjust your aperture, and that's it. The rest you don't touch. So that's kind of what I'm going to do next. I'm going to attach my follow focus to this. Now, by the way, another thing I'm testing aside from the lens is the rig. If you notice, most of my videos I had the Lenpoint rig, which is great and served me well. But I had a chance basically to get these different kind of rigs to test out, and I'm always looking for new ways to improve my rig. If you guys own cameras and have camera rigs, you know how it is. It's like Barbie for guys. You never finish testing out or adjusting the thing. So one thing, the reason why I kind of got into this rig, and this is the rig from Small Rig. It's a Chinese company. Now, reason why I started getting into it is because I saw somebody I was filming with. They had a side plate up here. You can see this thing side plate, this cheese plate, and you know normally you have the airy dovetail here, but this is kind of what it's used to attach the side plate. So I've attached it there, and now the dovetail moves to the front a little bit. So here I'll remove this so you guys can see. And this is the first piece basically that I got. Now you can get this whole kit that I have right now. It's the kit itself costs $200 or $199. Detach this thing here. And I've been already kind of using it for the last 2 weeks, so I'll kind of tell you what I got, what I think. But basically here today we don't even need this handle, but this is the, you know, you can attach the handle. So the airy dovetail normally is here in this part of the camera, but then you use basically here a screw to attach the plate to it, and then they give you another dovetail here on the side, so you can put your side handle there. One thing I don't like, and you got to be aware of, is once you get this side plate, it's great. The side plate itself is great, except one minor thing to keep in mind is when you put this handle in here, you're very, very close to the power basically connection here. As you see, the camera has the power output, and then it has the SDI for like the monitor and stuff. And I use these always. I always connect my monitor or my EVF to this. When you have that, and then you try to put your hand on this grip, for me, it's pretty much I cannot use this grip because my fingers go into this cable. And so that's the problem. It's just, you know, it's kind of like this. Now you can fix this by adding an extension here and then basically attaching this further. So maybe I'll show you, because I think I have my extension here. Let's see. Where did I put it is the question. So here you can see I have my follow focus attached. This is another, like, this is actually from Lamport, the extension, the handle, which I'm not sure if I'll be using today. I got another thing, which is small rig HD. This is actually really cool. I'm going to show you guys. This is $80. Well, it depends. I'm going to I post the links to these afterwards so you can see various places where you can buy it. So. Got some lenses here. Let's see, where did I put this piece? Got my V-mount batteries. Let's make sure at least one of them is charged, because yeah, it's charged. All right, good. So this is actually this cool new V-mount battery from KMTV, and what's cool about it is it packs a punch. So, but it's still airplane basically safe. I mean, you can take it on an airplane, or most airlines. Although you should probably check these. Where I am right now, somebody's asking. I am in New York City, so I'm just on the Upper East Side. This is the Hudson River and New Jersey over there, downtown over there. You can see, and I'm just chilling here at the apartment. So that's why I'm not doing the live stream from my studio, because here in New York I don't have a studio. All right. Got my microphone, which I don't need right now, so I'm not gonna think. You see, as you can see though, this bag is pretty good from Arcos. It's will fit the URSA pretty much all set up, and all the accessories for it without a problem. Okay, so I forgot to bring that little handle, so I'm not gonna show you guys. But basically, what it is like I was saying. Normally, if you attach this now, here, let me pan this down. So yeah, normally if you attach this handle here now, it's so close that once you put your hand through there, it's basically hitting the cable you're gonna hook up. If you don't hook up the front cable for the power and the SDI, then you don't have to worry, but otherwise it's too close. Well, you can get this extension, which again I'll post the links for that afterwards, which moves the handle further out. Now the good thing about that is you have a lot more clearance, you don't have to worry. But the bad thing is that suddenly your center of gravity is like really shifted to the side, so it might be hard on your wrist. But usually I would hold it with two hands anyways, because this isn't a very light camera. So anyways, let's think. Yeah, there it is again. Focus is running wild. But what is so cool about the side plate and why I got into this rig? Well, small rig, like I said, has been putting the side plate, and I believe this is the first piece they created for the URSA cameras. This will work, by the way, with the URSA 4K, 4.6K Pro, and whatever next one that they have. Right now, this whole thing the rig itself is very light, like the plates. It's more the lens. The lens is freaking heavy. Somebody's asking how much it weighs. It's around, last time I measured it, it was around 14 pounds. So not horrible, but it's still, you know, not light. But that's with the battery. Not, you know, once I put the battery in the bag, and that's kind of how much it costs. I mean, weighs. Anyways, what's cool about this is that you have a NATO rail here, so you can attach all the NATO accessories. Plus, as you can see, you have 1/4 inch and 3/8 of an inch threads all over this freaking thing. So you can attach magic arms and things like that, other accessories. Plus, what I personally love is you have a cold shoe mount up here. So I can take, and remember, like pretty much every feature film I've worked on with this camera is not very friendly when, you know, without this to attaching anything else, because otherwise you pretty much everything you have to attach to the top, and that just makes the camera really top heavy. Well, I remember, like you know, especially the film I shot in India last year, the sound department was always running the lav basically from their mixer, so that I could record, you know, the actual audio from the microphones in the camera, which is good to have as a scratch track. It helps the editors and just helps when you're previewing the shots. But then the problem was mounting the friggin' thing. I would try to mount it here on the handle, but then that was kind of big and top heavy. It was New Delhi, India. I was shooting a film, and a little bit in Mumbai too, actually. And anyway, so all of this basically stuff would have been fixed if I had this, because otherwise we end up using gaffer's tape, attaching it to the rails and stuff. Well, here now I can take basically a regular, you know, basically anything that has a cold shoe mount, and if you know, most of those adapters, you know, wireless receivers, I should say, they have a cold shoe mount, so you can slide it now and it fits perfectly up here, even if you have the handle. So that's the reason why I love it. Plus, you can still attach magic arms. So sometimes I would attach the magic arm now here on this side, and I would attach a monitor, so that, let's say, my, you know, AC, for example, can operate the camera, or let's say second AC could pull focus off of this and all that stuff. So that's really great. So that's kind of how I got into it. So I still had my Lampard rig, but I just got this, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna start using it. Then I decided, okay, let me give it a try for, you know, this thing. So they created a top plate. It's slightly different than the one. All right, I'm back. I don't know what happened here, but something got. Yeah, sorry guys. It looks like it was my phone. I don't know. Maybe it got hot, because it's freaking hot today. Let me see if I can maybe somehow cover it or something. Yep, I'm back online. Sorry guys. Yeah, it was my phone. Anyways, here it is. So I'm gonna show you guys again. Loosen this a bit. Whoa, too loose. This is what happens when you're doing it all by yourself. All right, so like I said, so I tried this then, the top rail. Cool thing about the top rail is it's wider, has a lot more attachments than the Lampard one, like when I'm seeing the threads. Plus it has the cold shoe mounts. So you see it has here on this side and another one here. So you can attach even more, like let's say microphones up here and things like that. Now one thing is, it is kind of close to this top handle. So if you have the top handle attached, it might be a problem, but depends again, because you can move the top handle, and that's one cool thing, is you can move it sideways, so move it left and right. So let's say if I attach the microphone here, I could just move the top handle to the right side, and I can lock it, right? So that's a cool thing. Plus you have a cold shoe mount on the handle here and on the back of the handle. So you have a lot of places where you can put 2 or 3 receivers or things like that, microphones. So it's pretty cool. What I maybe don't like, or what I like, it's a good handle, it's a good, very solid top handle. And there's another thing I'll talk about that I really like about this. What I maybe don't like comparing it to the Lampard one is the fact that the Lampard handle was longer. So you can grab it in the front, you can grab it in the back, depending on how your camera is weighted. This thing, you know, I just wish they made it longer, because you can adjust this, but you look at this, you have these 2 Allen keys here. So you have to loosen these, and then you can move the handle forward or back, you can slide it. It's not like quickly adjustable, right? So that's one thing, because sometimes, you know, if you have a small lens up here, you might want to have, you know, like I said here, like holding it, but like right here I have a big lens, so all the weight is in the front. Look at what happens if I grab it here, the whole camera tilts forward. So it would make more sense for me to grab it here, right? And sometimes that will change as you're changing the lenses, so that's the reason why I'm saying that. Another thing though, So yeah, so that's maybe one thing that I wish it had, kind of like the Lampard thing. But otherwise, I'm really happy that it has the extra culture mounts and the threads. I mean, like I said, look at this. You even have threads here on the side, so you really have a lot of attachment points. So that's a great thing. Now another thing, because this whole rig, the basic top plate, the handle, this side plate, which you can buy these separately, and I would just say, if anything, just buy the side plate. It really adds extra usability to your camera, and also protects us. If any of you have the URSA Mini, whether it's 4K, 4.6K or Pro version, you'll know that the side plate, if you drop this, it's very easily can get broken into. Whereas here, it actually gives you extra protection, plus all these attachments, right? Now you can buy the whole kit with all of these pieces for $200 or $199. Thing I wouldn't really recommend is this bottom thing. I don't know, so far I'm not a fan of it. It's basically this little bottom plate, just this piece. You know, and it comes with the rails. You know, you basically put them in there. You can put your own longer rails. But what I don't like about it is that, I mean, it's sturdy and all, but it is so tiny. And look at the very little surface area. This is all hollow. So attaching, you know, we pretty much have to attach like something really big and solid here to add more surface area. So when you put it on a slider or on a gimbal, it doesn't go wobbly. Plus, it doesn't have any rubber padding underneath it. Like I don't know, I'm not a big fan of this. The one that Lampard has is really nice. It's bigger surface area, just more solid. And especially for a big camera like this, I think you kind of need it. But as I do more testing, maybe I'll let you guys know about this. But yeah, that's one thing I'm not a fan of. So if you're gonna buy this rig, I would say maybe just buy the top plate. I mean, yeah, the top plate and the side plate. Maybe just buy those separately. You're still gonna save, I think. So yeah, so that might be one thing to consider. Anyways, now I'm gonna put the follow focus. This is from KMTV. This is a decent follow focus, and I like using it. It's kind of light and not complicated. But when you're working in a big film, you're usually gonna use other ones that are kind of two-sided, because you need your AC to be able to pull focus too, and sometimes you want to be able to jump on it. But you see, for this thing it works. Now here, getting back to the lens, so the Anamorphic lens adapter, so far I've been getting good results. There's things to watch out for, which I'll get into. If you guys have questions about the Anamorphic, let me know. What I don't like is, I mean, I like in general when you have cinema lenses that have a low focus, like basically focus ring throw, meaning, you know, basically like any standard photo lenses. To adjust the focus, sometimes you just move it, you know, to go from infinity to closest point, you just move it like this or like this, and you're already there. So it means it leaves you very little room to hit very critical focus. Cinema lenses usually will have a longer basically throw, so you have to rotate the lens further. Well, here though, I'm gonna go right now to where is this, the closest point, which is, where's the marking here? I believe it's this one. No, the marking disappeared here. Oh, there, okay. So right now I'm at infinity. So you see, to go from infinity to the closest point, look at how much I have to turn. And then now. So it takes a while. You definitely, for me, ideally, I would want to be able to do this all in one thing, like one basically, you know, turn. And what I mean by that is that a crank would definitely help. See, KK Bronson says. To basically, to do this, like I said, a crank or even a whip can help. But for me, when I'm operating, like when I have this on my shoulder, what I love is when I grab this, and I have a lot of room to play, but I would want to be able to, like, I usually kind of gauge by my thumb, so I'll usually start with my thumb in my upper position, and let's say I know that here we're at the closest point, so I know when my thumb is up, okay, I've reached the closest point, and then here I can go to infinity, and usually like one turn, or like almost too close to it, so like, you know, I would say 300 degrees or something like that, no more than that. And when you see up here, I'm still not even halfway. Oh no, I'm halfway, and then no, almost halfway. You see, so it takes like almost 3 turns of my ring now. So that's what I wish it was thing, because this way I could still nail the focus here. But if I wanted to go, let's say, from closest to infinity, then I could just go like this, and I'm there. But here I gotta take my hand off again, and then again, you know. And when I was doing these tests so far, that was the hardest thing with this Anamorphic adapter. The shots look pretty beautiful, and I shot some cool stuff actually here with the view of New York, the downtown, and like at night as the sun was setting, all the lights and everything looked really cool. But man, focusing from like being close to camera out onto the buildings was a nightmare. So you get, when I post the shots, you guys will be able to really see. I'll try to show something today, but because of the sun and I'm kind of just showing it in camera, it might be difficult to see for you guys. But anyways, yeah, that's the kind of thing to keep in mind, is that this lens, it really takes a lot to turn here. But it's the best solution if you want an affordable anamorphic look. You can get this, and it's a true 2x anamorphic, so you can shoot with this if you have a, let's say, you know, any kind of cinema camera, even like red cameras. But I think with the URSAs, it's great because the affordable cinema camera, you can get your, you know, Canon EF lenses, and then you pair that with the adapter, and you basically have an anamorphic lens. Now, another thing to keep in mind about this anamorphic lens is testing out the different lenses that you take, or the taking lenses. So in this case, right now, I'm testing out the Rokinon 50mm. It's a great lens on its own, and it's pretty sharp. Yeah, I can shoot in RAW, somebody's asking here. So I can shoot in RAW because that's the beautiful thing, is that I can have anamorphic in 3K, because in the URSA you can record in 3K. And actually, when I get the battery mounted, I'll show you the shots and everything. And so it's in 3K, and I can shoot it in ProRes, DNX, or RAW. That's the beautiful thing. Plus in 60K, I wish it was 60K, 60 frames per second. So, so yeah. Yes, the King Arthur is saying this is an affordable cinema camera. I don't know if the little laughing face you're making at me or not. If you compare this to any other cinema camera, meaning camera that shoots basically with a super 35mm image sensor size, plus it has raw recording capabilities and all that stuff, this is the most affordable. I mean, the next camera really you're gonna go up to that can shoot RAW in that format, because there's like the C200 and stuff, but it doesn't shoot true RAW, and it's, you know, kind of compressed and stuff. I would say the next one is really the Red Raven, which, you know, to really get that package, it's like $16,000. So yeah, so this is good. This is the affordable. So you can get the 4.6K version for $5,000, or the thing. Well, yeah, okay, you can get the F55. Somebody's saying, but that's not 4K. I'm talking about like now all, I would say, cinema cameras, you kind of expect to have 4K resolution or higher. So 422 is just simply the color bit depth, so per channel. So you have 3 channels: red, green, and blue. Usually red has the most information, and then the green and blue are kind of a little bit less. The reason is because our eyes, human eyes, really respond to the color red. We really notice it. Something to do with our being primates back in the day, and a lot of the fruits, or good fruits, were red. So this was, I guess, you know, our instinct. You know, our eyesight can really pick out red. So the red channel usually is going to have the 4 color sampling, basically. But for the blue and the red, blue and the green, they usually downsampled it to, you know, be able to squeeze the data and compress it onto a smaller media, let's say like a record format, like a ProRes or something. So 422 just simply means that you're getting 4-bit sampling on a red channel, but for the blue and the green, you're getting only 2. 444 is basically the best quality, means you're getting as much sampling per each channel as you can. That's what you're going to get with a RAW camera. Automatically, basically, when you're shooting in RAW, you're sampling at 444. And that's kind of, you want the best color quality, like especially if you're doing green screen work, you do not want to shoot in camera that's, even if it's 10-bit, but it's only shooting at 422, because that means you're only sampling 2 colors for the green channel. And when you're shooting green screen or blue screen, you need to have the blue and the green channel really accurate, because otherwise that's when you're going to start seeing the little pixelated edges on the blue screen or the green screen. So anyways, getting back into lens, the taking lens with this anamorphic adapter is going to be very important. What I mean by that is, depending on what the lens you have, the results might be better or worse. I thought this is, you know, being a nice bigger cinema lens, it would work. It works, but only the 50mm lens, the focal length. If you guys start going in tighter, you start getting thing. And I would say with this lens, I mean, first of all, you're not going to be able to use lenses with this adapter that are wider than 50mm on a super 35mm image sensor. So that's something to keep in mind. The reason is because if you start having lenses that are wider than 50mm, you're going to start seeing the edges of that adapter here, right? So you're going to get the you know, kind of dark edges, and then eventually you're just going to see straight out the circle, right? So that's something to keep in mind. So I would say the widest you can go, my test is around like 40. You can go 35mm lens, but you're going to start seeing some vignetting on the corners. But 40mm is still safe. You're going to be able to get the image and a bit wider, and you're not going to see the edges. But really, I would say 50mm and up. The only thing is, when I was using the Rokinon, let's say 85mm, it just did not look good combined with this. When I used, for example, some of my older Nikon glass, like for example Nikon, was it the Nikkor 100 even 5mm? It was already starting to look soft because you're basically then using the center of this adapter, and the glass isn't like top quality glass in this adapter. So at 105mm, it was still, I would say, usable, but it's looking a little soft. But at like 80mm, you can still get a shot. And why I think it's important to know this is because you got to remember that on an 80 or let's say 50mm lens, which this adapter was primarily designed for, you're getting 50mm vertically, but horizontally your focal length doubles now. So it's essentially becoming 25mm. So you know, or I shouldn't say doubles, it's twice as wide. So you're getting now, you know, things. So the cool thing is you're getting a very nice shallow depth of field on a essentially what's like a 25mm lens. So you can go closer to the person's face, and with this focus ring attachment, you can get up to 3 feet close to somebody. So you can go up to 3 feet from them. So you can get a nice, decent close-ups. I'll show you guys what kind of shots I got in a second. But then that means if you want to get real close-ups, you're gonna have to use diopters and things like that, because you're not gonna be able to really get close-ups. And then again, I would say anamorphic lenses are in general are not great for like extreme close-ups. That's probably where you want to switch to other type of lenses. So something to keep in mind. Now, if you want to get like a nice kind of a closer portrait shot, I would say you want to use this adapter with like an 80-85mm lens. But then, like I said, don't use the Rokinon 85mm, because it's just, from my tests, it adds a lot of weird artifacts and adds these like a lot of weird like reflections and stuff in the lens. The Nikkor 80mm lens is old manual, Nikon lenses. You're gonna have to use an adapter and all that stuff, but they worked. The 80mm still work. 105mm is workable, but definitely degrades the quality already. So, but that's something to keep in mind with this adapter. But I would say with this adapter, I mean, you can just shoot this whole thing on a 50mm lens. You can shoot a whole film. I mean, the Dallas Buyers Club, for example, with Matthew McConaughey, that was up for the Oscars. I believe won some Oscars, right? That film was all shot on one lens, a 150mm lens. So you can definitely shoot a nice film and a nice, 50mm anamorphic lens. You can shoot a whole film on this. So you're gonna be limited, obviously, certain things. So you're gonna be able to, you're gonna know that if you want to get a wide angle in a small location, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna have to step back, or shoot in a bigger location where you can go further away from your subjects and things like that. Just something to keep in mind. Because like I said, with this adapter, you'll not be able to go much wider than a 50mm. So anyways, that's pretty much, the rig. Let me hook up the battery, show you guys here. So this is the battery, and that's pretty much the rig. Now, one last thing I wanted to show you, actually, which is a cool thing for the rig. You don't have to use it with this rig. This is also from Small Rig. I decided to give it a try. It's basically a monitor mount. So basically you have a rail, 50mm rail. Then you have the NATO rail here, so it allows you to slide this little arm. And then on this arm, you can attach your monitor directly to it. Or in this case, I use the Lenport quick release for my monitor, so I can attach and detach the monitor. So I'll kind of show you guys how this goes. You're basically attaching this little thing. And that's the cool thing about this handle, is that you can get, like for my Lenport rig, I also would connect my monitor or my EVF that way, but by attaching a 50mm rod vertically, horizontally. But I would attach a little clamp here, which when you buy this, you'll get a clamp for this. So you can attach that to any top plate that has, quarter 20. But in this case, I'm just gonna slide this in here. See, I'm kind of putting it like this. And you can put it different ways. I could put it like this, or have this thing turned around and have the monitor on the left side or the right side. In this case, I want my monitor to be kind of like right over here, over the top. And actually, I'm gonna attach it this way, maybe, so you guys can see better. So here, I'm gonna put this in. They even, you don't have to use it, but they give you this little stopper, so just in case you never slides out there. Which I'll just put it on there because I don't want to lose it. And then you lock here. Cool thing about this is that you can lock it, you can still rotate it. So I can adjust the height of this, plus the angle I would adjust it with the actual arm here. And you can attach the tension of this, so I can adjust it to make it very loose, you can see. And then here I'm gonna attach my monitor, and this is just a Lenport quick release monitor, V-mount attachment for the monitors, which is really great. Since I started using it, I kind of can't get around without it, because it just makes attaching and detaching the monitors really easy. So here I'm saying, oh, and by the way, here another thing I'm testing. See, tests are very important. New monitor from Icon, and it's actually, maybe it's gonna be a good test today because it's supposed to be very bright. I haven't used it really that much in broad daylight yet, but other than that, it's very light. As you can see, very thin. You can use Sony NPF or Canon mount batteries. You can get different plates for these. I run my battery or power from the camera, so I have my power cable, and then here I have my SDI cable. It accepts SDI, as you can see. It accepts as SDI out, look through, accepts HDMI in and out. Really cool monitor, like, and it's beautiful quality. It's IPS-C. It's higher than HD resolution. Forget now the specs. Plus, I just love the controls over it, like up here, and the nice way to navigate the menus. It's very quick, and it's just a very light monitor, so it works beautifully. Plus, it actually accepts 4K signal, but it doesn't down-res it, meaning you can actually do 1-to-1 pixel viewing of the 4K signal, which is beautiful. So, anyways, here I'm gonna hook this sucker up. So you see, that's where that quick release works really great, because I can just take my monitor and just slide it in here, and it's attached. And to release it, it's also very quick, as you saw. Now here, that's where I run my cables. So you can see here, I attach my SDI cable, and this is my power cable. So I'm running basically the power from the camera here. All right, there, I'm all hooked up. And this gives me a nice big 7-inch monitor here on the top, so I can just kind of see what's happening. So I'm gonna start up the camera right now, and let's see here. And I can show you guys the shots that I got. These are the shots I have right now just on the cards that I got basically yesterday. I was shooting in the evening here with this nice view. So hopefully you guys be able to see here. Okay, King Arthur, what is it? Questions. Sorry guys, sometimes I'm not looking at the screen, so can you repeat the question, King Arthur? Oh, can you shoot 2:3:5:1 aspect ratio? Yes, you can, and we're shooting this in 3K anamorphic with a 4x3. Basically, it's an image sensor, but this is 2 times, and that's what it comes out to. Another question, what is it? Can you send the link for the camera bag and Anamorphic? Okay, I'll post those after the live stream is done, because I'm doing it from my phone right now, okay? But anyways, you can see here the monitor, and as you can see here, this is broad sunlight. Like, the sun is just falling directly up here. I'm actually burning up here. And you can still see actually stuff in here. So let me press play. And let's see here. So this is one of the shots here that I have. Some of the shots from yesterday I was getting. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see it better than. See, I don't know if you can be able to see it because I should have, I think, the little hoodie, but the problem is it's a bright monitor. I can see, but it's not that bright that you guys can't. Yeah. Maybe, you know what, I'll just post these tests. Afterwards, I'm going to do a video. I'll just post these tests so you guys can see. But I'm seeing it up here, and it's the shots. This is shots of like the buildings, and I'm kind of going in and out of focus. And this is in the evening, and the lights like are just kind of, you're getting this really beautiful, like just the bokeh, and then the flares that you get with the you know, what do you call it, with the anamorphic lens. It just looks really cool. So. Let me see here, maybe go to a bit brighter shots here.
Just sit looking out, you're just enjoying the view.
Let me fast forward here. Maybe
Look around, don't get the camera.
it looks really cool. That's all I can say. The monitor, it's Icon. I forgot the model now. I'm gonna again, I'm gonna post all of the info up here, but it's what does it say up here? It's resolution is 1920 by 1200, 7-inch, 700 nits brightness. So that's the cool thing, and the reason why I got it for this. And it's just called High Bright, I guess up here. I do have the whole model, I know, on my computer, but I'll let you guys know the model because I can't see it right here, right now on the back. But yeah, I'm trying to see if I can like get these other shots so you guys can see them, the brighter ones. So hopefully here you can kind of see. Oh, I know what the problem is. I have a white table here that I'm on, and that's reflecting everything. But anyways, you can kind of see here. You can see that's my wife there. Beautiful view here of New Jersey and the Hudson River, and so yeah, it's looking pretty cool. I'm gonna post the test again so you guys can really see the anamorphic kind of a quality that you can get. I know I shot another test here. Let me
Walk to that corner over there, kind of
bring
look
it
over
up
there,
here.
you know, the edge there. That-
Go to the second part. Oh. Trying to find this clip with like this nice flares that I got to. Don't know where it is right now, on which card, so again I'll just show you guys later on. But as you can see, this is the rig. Now it's definitely not light, so I'm happy I didn't take this yesterday with me on the town, because it's now with everything mounted. Oh man, it's like my wrist is hurting. Why do I need another monitor? Is because this one's good, but definitely when you're shooting like doing a bigger film, you want a monitor that's you can have another monitor for your AC, so you can pull focus and do all that other stuff with it. But for me, it's just this monitor, it's decent, but it's still not that bright that it comes in here. This one is bigger, first of all, so you can really nail focus, plus it's much brighter basically than this monitor. So it might be hard to see right now because of, you know, just you guys are seeing glare and all that stuff, but when you're here like actually looking with your eyes, I can see a big difference right now between this monitor and this one. Like this one, you know, it's a shot of at night, so most of it is dark, which is very hard to see in the middle of the day, but I can make out here all the sharpness. I can see the city lights and everything. And this one, it's kind of getting washed out, so that's one of the reasons why you kind of want that. So anyways, yeah, that's the kind of rig. I guess the last thing I'll kind of, before I answer some more questions from you guys, is about this adapter, which again I'm going to do like a review so you guys can see the actual footage I was recording and stuff. But this adapter, it's anamorphic. Anamorphic's usually is this better than the Anamorphot? I mean, it is the Anamorphot, but it's the 2 times Anamorphot. So it's the, you know, yeah. Oh yeah, no submissions today because I'm on my phone, Arthur, because I'm getting questions here. So I'm going to be showing your video submissions next week. Sorry about that, but just on my phone I can't do it really. But yeah, this thing, or actually no, next week I don't think I'll be able to do submissions, or I mean I'll try to, but next week most likely we'll be shooting a film Sunday morning. So, but the cool thing about next week is going to be actually I'm going to do a live stream from while we're shooting the film. So you guys will be on location with me. You'll be able to see actually in the middle of production now with the rig and everything, how I'm kind of shooting a film and kind of see everything. So I know you're sad, King Arthur, but trust me, it might be cooler to see me working and answer some questions on set, and then I'll show your submissions the week after that. So my apologies. But yeah, the one last thing to remember about, in general, most anamorphic lenses are never fast, so low light they're not the best. And this one is basically because you're dependent on the taking lens. You got to know that, and you're losing some light. Where you're losing, I forgot how much f-sub, but it's kind of hard to measure. But you're losing, it darkens the image slightly. Plus, on your taking lens, you kind of want to start off with the fastest lens you can. So you definitely want to go and close this down, because I'm going to show you guys again in the test. With this lens can go to T1.5, which is pretty fast, but what T1.5, the image looks pretty soft. It's kind of hard to, it introduces a lot of weird reflections and things. When I step it down to f2.8, then it looks nice and sharp, but the ideal is at f4. And if you've been shooting with the URSA, you know that it's not a great low light camera. So here, shooting at night, when I was shooting basically with the sun still, like basically a little bit of the light in the sky, but the sun was set already, shooting at f4 at 60 frames per second, 180 degree shutter, I was still able to get a decent exposure. But once the sun completely disappeared, it was pitch black. To get even the city lights, I mean, I had to be open at f2.8, and I had to shoot at 24 frames per second. Like, forget about shooting 60 frames per second, because it's just not going to be possible. So that's something to keep in mind, is that your low light is definitely going to suffer with anamorphic lenses, just like with this anamorphic adapter. So, but anyways, that's like the last thing. If you guys have any other questions, ask me. Like I said, next week, I almost forgot, but yeah, I wanted to let you know next week I'm going to be shooting a film, so with the URSA, and might be with this lens. So I'm going to be on the film set, and hopefully I'll be able to show you guys everything. I think I should, because the director I'm working with and the production company they're pretty cool. So I'm going to be, like I said, showing you guys from the set kind of how we're working, setting up everything. So I think that should be a cool experience. And then what else? And then if you have any questions, I'll be able to answer those. So join me next week, like I said, if you kind of want to experience being on a film set and working. What is this? Seafood Inspector says, I love my URSA Mini 4K 98% of the time. I love that answer. I think that's true with any camera. I mean, I love pretty much every camera that I have, but not 100% of the time. There's good and bad things about each camera, right? So thank you, Andrew, about he says, I love your work. CG Forward says, I'll definitely be there next week, so I'm glad to see that. So yeah, join me guys next week. We're gonna be on the film set shooting a film, so maybe you guys can even help me. If I have some problems, I'll ask you questions. You can be like, hey, move the camera this way, or adjust the lights. We'll see. And the film we're shooting next week, it's actually going to be a cool, interesting project, because even for me, because most of my stuff tends to be very stylized, very heavily lit, but the kind of stuff that I'm doing next week is the director specifically wants this film to look like very natural, kind of like a House of Cards. So very clean, but very kind of natural looking too. So doesn't feel lit. It feels like the lights are just there. And that's kind of what we're doing too. So I'm going to be using some good, cool lighting tools. I'm still going to be lighting it, but it's going to be hard definitely when you can't just put lights anywhere without justifying them. You have to have, everything has to seem real. And not too obvious. It actually makes things a lot harder when you're lighting. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So we'll hopefully you guys will enjoy it next week. But anyways, I'm gonna finish it up. It's been, I believe now over an hour with the little break that I had in there with the phone disconnected. So yeah, see you guys next week. So and also for those of you who are asking about the links and the info about basically what I was showing and using here with this rig, just check out this video after it's posted on YouTube, because I'm going to post all the information, all the links there, okay, and the description of the video. So anyways, bye Adam, bye Scott, bye everybody, bye Jamaica, Norway, the whole world. Thank you guys for joining as always. It was a really great show, and really great feedback this week. Bye.